Here are 5 ways the world is on fire. Please stay tuned through this because it's going to feel like doom and gloom, but there is a reason why I want to talk about it. There's a reason for hope. There's a reason why this could be a good thing. Though it is tough, the world is crunchy, the world is in chaos. But let's get into why that is, what those things are, and where it's all going or where it could potentially go. Firstly, my name is Rob Durlich. I like to talk about raw spirituality. I love spirituality, but I also understand the grittiness of life. Like, it is not go in the woods and meditate all day long. Life is tough. It is challenging. Our connection to God, source, the universe matters. And so are the practical tools that help us get through life. And I talk about all of that here. And unlike most people in the spiritual space, I want to talk about what's happening in the world and what that means from a spiritual perspective, not an escapism perspective. But let's get into it, because as men, we have to be able to watch what is happening. We have to be able to discern what is happening. We have to be able to see what is happening and provide wisdom and guidance so we can see we are in the world, but we are not of it. Going back to a biblical reference there, we are in the world, but not of it. But there's a spiritual truth that's there. But before we get into all of that, let's get into these 5 ways that the world is currently on fire. Firstly is World War III. Ray Dalio just came out with that, said we're in World War III. We are in World War III. We have multiple wars, whether it's trade wars, physical wars of armies, of battles, of blowing things up across different fronts in different parts of the world. The U.S. is involved, Israel's involved, other countries are involved, China's now getting involved. We're in World War III. Whether it's declared war or not, whether there's big, massive fronts like we had in Iraq or in Afghanistan, doesn't matter. We are in a world war. Look at the price of oil. It is all being affected. We are in World War III. But there is a war of technology at play. The stock market is part of this. Economic wars, social wars. It's a lot more complex than we can imagine as it's playing itself out. But we are there. We are absolutely there. Number 2, AI singularity is basically here. What's coming up is we're at the verge of singularity, not to get overly technical, but is on the verge of crossing over to having ability to have intelligence greater than human beings, not at speed, but as intelligence of being able to assimilate all this information and to have its own thoughts about it. We're starting to dance with it. Elon Musk has come out, talked about it recently. Sam Altman from OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, has come out and talked about it recently. Things are changing very rapidly. The exponential curve is about to go sky high through what AI is, which is going to change the economics of the world and change our relationship to technology. So that is here, and that's a big, big deal that's creating more chaos and uncertainty in the world. Number 3, this is a fun one. I don't know if it's fun. This is interesting to me. I just read about the supposed meeting with Christian leaders and the government. Certain bigger named Christian influencers were called to meet with some government officials. And they said, prepare your congregations for alien disclosure. What the fuck is that about? Why is the government getting involved with religion in churches to have something disclosed or to talk about it? I don't know. There's something that's not right with that. There's a twist on that. There's something inauthentic when it comes to that. But again, it's creating another fire in the world, another thing of chaos, another thing of uncertainty that is causing the world to shift very fast. So much stuff has come out about aliens, whether they exist or not. And it's not really that they don't exist. Simple probability tells you that someplace out in the universe, aliens are here. There's other life that's out there. That's simple probability. But are they here? Are they interacting in some ways on this planet? Do we know more? Does the government know more than it's let on? There's all of these documentaries. There's people on multiple podcasts talking about what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've researched. It's very interesting what the next few years will bring. And it's even more interesting that the government has reached out to Christian leaders to help them have conversations with their congregations. What is that about? Number 4, the good old Epstein files have disappeared. No one's talking about it, in large part because of a world war they just created. A shooting just happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It feels like a lot of other events are happening that are causing distractions away from this very evil thing that just was revealed through the Epstein files about a lot of leaders, about a lot of people doing a lot of dark shit that's in the world. But guess what? This is all being found out. It's all coming to the surface, right? So it's a very interesting time where this stuff is no longer being hidden. It wasn't even supposed to get released, the Epstein files, the way that it was released, but yet the full thing was released. Now you can go look it up. Now you can go research it. There's a lot of information there. There's still a lot of loose ends, and we do have to be careful with drawing conclusions that we shouldn't be drawing to, but it speaks to something very dark. Another fire in the world that is causing chaos, bringing certain elements that have been hidden to the surface that we as people have to contend with. And the 4th, let's talk about the environment. Now, I'm not going down too far down the rabbit hole of what is global warming, of what is causing the environment. All I know is this: there are concerns. We have more plastic on the earth, in the water, in the oceans than we've ever had before. We have some of the craziest lack of snowfall in the Rockies, and I've heard the same thing for the Himalayas. The snowpack isn't what it ever was before. Is this part of the Earth's natural cycle? Some people argue that. Is this part of what we are doing to the planet? Either way, this is our home, and we are polluting it. We are putting more plastic that can't decompose into the earth. Are we being responsible with how we mine the oil? There's a lot of questions that's here that we have to contend with, especially when we're dealing with nuclear talks with Iran and the US and a little bit of that. Like, what are we doing to our home? What are we doing to our planet? We're producing things so fast. Technology, even the AI, is a big one. It consumes a lot of water, which in some areas of the world, that's okay. It can pull water. It can put it back into the environment. Other places where they decide to build these things is draining all the water out of that region. They can't replenish the water fast enough. And then the energy that it consumes. It consumes way more energy than we've ever consumed on the planet just through data centers. And yes, the irony of this has to be loaded, this video, loaded up into a data center so that you can watch it. It's where technology is. And I'm not sure there's anything we can do to stop it other than change our relationship to it and keep finding better technologies for this new world that we live in. But these are big fires in the world, big things that are happening that will change history, that will change the path that we go down. That's why I bring this up. And to a lot of people, there's a deep gloom and doom about these things. We're in a war. Oh my God. The economics. Oh my God. The oil crisis. Oh my God. The environment. Oh my God. As a deeply spiritual person, as a person that calls out men, that wants men to rise up into their power, their authority, so that the feminine can come online with her magic and her wisdom. I want especially men to understand something. One of the things that we're called to do as spiritual men is to watch, to see, to guide, to protect, and ultimately to love. Now, what does that have to do with these 5 things about the world being on fire? We hold the presence of that. Meaning, our kids see all this stuff, and the anxiety is spiking through the roof. Do we hold the presence that all will be okay? So that's the challenge. That's the question. Do you believe in all that's happening in the world, it will be okay. What is your spiritual belief about it? And here's what I want to challenge you with is, do you believe that God has us? That there is a divine order to this, that the universe, God, source, spirit, the great mystery that is to me unconditional love that we cannot understand, not in its fullness, has us? Or do we think that all of this chaos could be doom and gloom? I feel that this is a spiritual awakening that's about to happen. There's more and more people coming into what's called consciousness, Christ consciousness. More and more people are going to religion to get on the path, the spiritual path, ultimately to connect to God, to connect to source, connect to spirit, however you label that. Our spirits and our hearts are being called to open up more. And the challenge is, can we walk in love or do we walk in fear? It is so easy to look at these things and walk down the path of fear, to walk down the path of blaming this particular political party or these group of people or the shadow government. That's what you suspect is behind all of it. Or do we walk in our divine authority that God has given to us, especially men, to hold this and go, no, we're not going to dive into fear, to hold their family in that place, to give them the information they need, but say, we will be okay, and here's the plan, and hold a deep spiritual presence that your family can anchor into. Men, women are all the ones that are the spiritual. They're doing the retreats. They're doing what men often call the woo-woo stuff. And a lot of men kind of dismiss it. Maybe your partner's into it, but you're kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but not too much. Men, we also have a spiritual three-way inside of us to connect deeply to God, to source, tap into that divine wisdom, to tap into our own deep knowing, and most importantly, to tap into presence that all will be okay. And the thing is, we have to experience that. We have to take our anxiety and all the stress and goes, what really is the story here? Do I actually believe that God's got this or I don't? It is that simple. It's black and white to me. Does God have this or God not give a shit? God's the source, spirit, the universe. That's where my faith is. That's where my belief is. That's where my spiritual anchoring is. And I want to ask you to do the same. Do you believe in unconditional love? If you believe that that exists and that comes from God's source, spirit, and the universe, then we also have to believe in the power of that unconditional love, that love wins. And this stuff that is happening, this chaos, this evil, this life-destroying things is temporary. And we will surf through to the other side of a better human, of a better world and a better earth. Go to robdurlich.com if you want to learn more about me. I have some offerings there. I have a weekly men's free call that I've just started. If that's something of interest to you, go there. There's a form. Fill it out. Get on that call. Get some help. Be seen, be heard, be challenged. Dive into some of this a little bit more. Dive into what's alive for you. We are spiritual beings, and that is a beautiful thing. And we don't need religion or dogma to tell us how that needs to be. We can experience God at any moment, at any time. We can tap into unconditional love. We can tap into divine wisdom. And that is the call. That is the ask. Open up your heart. Open up your spirit. Ask God to show you. Ask Spirit to show you. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. We don't have to live in the fear. We get to live from a place of peace and groundedness, no matter if the world is on fire.